Welcome to United Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Reverend David Kraemer, minister here at this church. So good to see you all. It's getting chilly out. I think the moisture in the air, it just feels a little more like winter these days as we get closer to the holidays. Thank you for coming. Joining me in today's service, Deklan O'Connor, our musician Alex Chilsen, our tech Aaron Hurwitz, and Maria Hinners has the children today for religious education. Were you motioning to me? Anything else? No, sorry. Ah. There we go. It's just the sound of life. Got it? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's better. I can hear that. So a couple of things to lift up. Last week, 19 of us, children, youth, and adults, went out for the owl hike, hooting owls at Retzer Park, or at least trying to hoot owls. Where the owls were remains a mystery, but we had a great time wandering around in the dark. Some services coming up, the holiday services over the next few weeks, so that you know. Next week, on December 17th, here in the morning, we will have an impromptu Christmas pageant starring all of you. There will be no rehearsal, there are no screen tests, but be ready because you may get drafted to participate in the pageant. On Thursday, December 21st, which is the solstice, we will hold a solstice service at the farm of Heidi and Harv Wolk, which is on Lonsdale Road, kind of south of town. There is an address that will be sent out by email and also printed in various places. We're starting at, we will arrive at the farm at 5:30 and then move out to where there are 7, count them, 7 huge piles of brush in Heidi's field, and there will be no lack of fire. But there is some uneven terrain, could be some mud, so be dressed for the weather, wear sturdy footwear. We will make some arrangements for accessibility. There's a path that we can take the pickup truck up and move people who are unsure on that ground up to where we will hold the solstice services. And we will, if you don't know how to get to Heidi's, we will carpool from here, leaving church at about 5 p.m. on that Thursday to make it down there in time. Making some good sense? Okay. Next up will be Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve falls on Sunday this year, so we will not have a morning service on that Sunday. We will have our traditional candlelight service starting at 4 p.m. And then the following Sunday, which is the 31st, we will do a coffee house service, once again starring all of you. So if you have a song, a poem, a dance, something that you can offer for the coffee house service, please consider that. This month's theme is mystery. And in this soft, cold season, as everything goes dormant, we will be talking about that really big mystery today, that one that drives a lot of religious belief. What happens to you when you die? I'm hoping this is not a dour downer kind of a service. It can be a celebration, or at least a wonder. As we begin our service here shortly, we will be lighting not just our chalice, but also our Advent wreath. The second candle is lit today. It is the joy candle. Also, today is the 3rd day of Hanukkah. Tonight at sundown, the fourth candle of the menorah will be lit. So there are lights and candles and joy all around us in this season. With that, please center yourselves for worship as Deklan calls us in, and I would invite Isabel up to help us light. Okay?
In a spirit of searching, out of and we are born. We enter a world, a universe, not of our making. Our lives unfold in mystery and wonder. Questions abound, for which there are no definite answers. And so we gather in community to seek in one another assurance and recognition, compassion and strength. We gather in community to be reminded of what is most ultimate and what is most sacred, in the spirit of searching and of reverence. Let us worship together this morning.
Please join the words on the wall, for you may know by heart. May this flame kindle with us the warmth of compassion, the glow of love, the fire of commitment, and the light of truth. Here together we scatter and nurture seeds of spirit, service, and unity. Let's sing together. Please rise in body or spirit, gathered here in the mystery of the hour. It is number 389 in your gray hymnals, if you have them, or here on the wall. Let's sing it through once, twice. Do you want to try it as a round? Let's sing it through twice.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
I love it when you are adventurous like that. All right, I'm over at this one. So I have a story. This is The Knowing by Ani DeFranco, whom some of you may know. I have a name, and my name has a story. I have a look, a sound, a smell, a shape, a size. I have a color to my hair, my skin, my eyes. But this is not all of who I am. Underneath this is something more. All of these things are just what's showing. Underneath all that I know is the knowing. I have a favorite blanket. It's a little torn. I have a family and a place where I was born. I have a favorite song and a favorite food. I have a favorite game depending on my mood. But all of this is not all of who I am. Underneath this is something more. All of these things are just what's showing. Underneath all that I know is the knowing. I have a life that I am here to live. I have gifts that I am here to give. I have friends, and with my friends, I have fun. I have a love of the wind and of the sun. Yes, I can take heart in what's showing, knowing it's all part of the knowing. Yes, I can take part in what's showing, knowing we're all part of the knowing. I have beliefs, and someday those beliefs might change. I have blocks that I like to arrange and rearrange. There are things that I'm told and things that I learn. There are skills I've practiced and praise I've earned. But this is not all of who I am. Underneath this is something more. All of these things are just what's showing. Underneath all that I know is the knowing. That's my story. So we practice knowing here, knowing each other, by sharing joys and sorrows each week. I would invite you now, if you have something to share, please come forward, speak your name into the microphone, take a stone from the bowl and hold it in your hand. Share with us what is on your heart, and when you are finished, place the stone in the bowl with the water to let the ripples carry your concern out to the wider congregation. Please come forward.
So a concern and a joy. A concern is today is it's Human Rights Day, and Jeff and I just heard on the way here that I believe it's the 75th anniversary that the UN talked about issues of human rights, and as we well know, there's I think 55 conflicts they said on the world stage going on. So we have some work to do on that front. A joy is. So in North Prairie, where Jeff and I live, a few years ago, people started a prairie garden. And I would drive by every day on my way to work and think, boy, I would like to be part of that project. So since I retired, I've been able to do that. And there's been a huge expansion approved by the village. So hopefully in spring we'll see lots of monarchs and pollinators in the area.
My name is Molly, and I have two joys. My joy is that I got my swimming ribbons a few weeks ago, and I got 2 first places, 2 sixth places, and a 4th place, so I'm excited about that. And then I had my 3rd sleepover in a row this weekend. And it is my friend's golden birthday today, so I'm excited about that.
I'll offer a little time with the camera off if there's anyone who wishes to come forward and not be part of the video. Good. Something that I forgot to announce earlier today, and thank you for your generosity. Our Christmas Clearing Council gift Christmas tree downstairs. This is the last day for gifts, if you have them, to contribute. Please see Ellen Poplowski. We also raised $55 for each family. Is that right? In addition to all the gifts. That's correct. Yes. So I'll place a stone for your generosity, and one more for all those joys and sorrows that remain unspoken, but on our hearts and minds. Let's sing together, walking with you. As we do so, the children may be released to class with Maria. Okay?
walking with you is our prayer.
Donahue. When you lose someone you love, your life becomes strange. The ground beneath you gets fragile, and your thoughts make your eyes unsure, and some dead echo drags your voice down where words have no confidence. Your heart has grown heavy with loss, and though this loss has wounded others too, no one knows what has been taken from you when the silence of absence deepens. Flickers of guilt kindle regret for all that was left unsaid or undone. There are days when you wake up happy, again inside the fullness of life, until the moment breaks and you are thrown back onto the black tide of loss. Days when you have your heart back, you are able to function well, until in the middle of work or encounter, suddenly with no warning, you are ambushed by grief. It becomes hard to trust yourself. All you can depend on now is that sorrow which will remain faithful to itself. More than you, it knows its way, and will find the right time to pull and pull the rope of grief until that coiled hill of tears has reduced to its last drop. Gradually, you will learn acquaintance with the invisible form of your departed, and when the work of grief is done, the wound of loss will heal, and you will have learned to wean your eyes from that gap in the air and be able to enter the hearth in your soul where your loved one has awaited your return all the time.
Let's sing together once again, hymn number 55 in your hymnals or on the wall. You may remain seated for this one.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal, gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
It's part of what it takes to maintain this community, this sense of togetherness that we share, and all of the things that support that. Ushers will come forward. Please give generously.
Why You Want a Physicist at Your Funeral by Aaron Freeman. You want a physicist to speak at your funeral. You want the physicist to talk to your grieving family and friends about the conservation of energy so they will understand that your energy has not died. You want the physicist to remind them about the first law of thermodynamics, that no energy gets created in the universe and none is destroyed. You want them to know that all your energy, every vibration, every BTU of heat, every wave of every particle that was you, remains with them in this world. You want the physicist to tell them that amid the energies of the cosmos, you gave as good as you got. And at one point, you'd hope that the physicist would step down from the pulpit and walk to your broken-hearted family and friends there in the pew and tell them that all the photons that ever bounced off your face, all the particles whose paths were interrupted by your smile, by the touch of your hair, hundreds of trillions of particles have raced off like children, their ways forever changed by you. And may the physicists let them know that all the photons that bounced from you were gathered in the particle detectors that are their eyes, that those photons created within them constellations of electromagnetically charged neutrons whose energy will go on forever. And the physicists will remind the congregation of how much all our energy is given off as heat. There may be a few fanning themselves with their programs as he says it, and he will tell them that the warmth that flowed through you in life is still here, still part of all that we are, even as we who mourn continue the heat of our own lives. And you want the physicists to explain to those who loved you that they need not have faith. Indeed, they should not have faith. Let them know that they can measure, that scientists have measured precisely the conservation of energy and found it accurate, verifiable, and consistent across space and time. You can hope your family and friends will examine the evidence and satisfy themselves that the science is sound and that they'll be comforted to know your energy is still around. According to the law of conservation of energy, not a bit of you is gone. You're just less orderly.
That's an often used litany at memorial services in UU congregations. Scatter my ashes on the Chippewa River, somewhere north of 40, where the princess pine carpet the forest floor and where the water runs rich and brown from the tannins of the cedar bogs, where pike spawn and where the white-throated sparrow sings, Old Sam Peabody, Peabody, Peabody. Let me drift down through the glacial till to the confluence of the Jump and the Flambeau, where boys jumped off a redwood dock under the watchful eye of an old dog, where a much younger man experienced for the first time the full wrath of poison ivy, where an old man holds on to his being. Out to the waters again, over dams made to power cities, past parkland and farm fields and gardens rich with sedum and aster and peony. Over rocks made for no reason at all to where the furious Chippewa empties into the languid Mississippi. There, past the start of our careers, past the birth of our sons, past the purchase of our first canoe and the accumulation of debt, past lessons in words and people, past our first garden, our blue spruce, and the big wasp nest cut from the maple and adorning the ledge that dropped its groggy queen onto the floor of the kitchen that winter, inches from the boy. From there down to Iowa, where tomatoes grew like nowhere else on earth, where life matured, and so did we. And then to the Gulf, down to the ocean, and out to everywhere, across the blue-green earth to South America and Africa and places not yet seen, and finally, in warm sun, up to the atmosphere, to the clouds and beyond. I came up with this plan for my ashes many years ago when I was asked to share my thoughts on what happens to you when you die in another Unitarian Universalist congregation. I shared it here when I first arrived in 2016 in a sermon similar to this one. I like the river imagery. I like the story. I'm not sure it really answers the question. What happens to us when we die? Is death just the end of it? Just ashes on a river? No more loving, no more stories, no more life, no more knowing. We are not a faith that offers many promises about what happens to you when you die. Once you get rid of the idea of hell, it's just not a long step from there to thinking about the idea of heaven as some other place where you go after you're dead. We've been ones to think of everything as natural, everything, not supernatural, even mystery. Even mystery is a part of nature, a part of the universe. For some, that's a little hard to hear. We want to live on. We want to be reassured that we are something more than meets the eye. We want this not just for ourselves, but for those we love, for those whose lives have touched ours. When we lose a loved one, the fabric of our lives is torn. We want to know there is more, that it's not over, even more than longing. We have this sense that somehow we are not just our bodies, that there is more to us, some animating force, some awareness apart from our senses, the root of ourselves that makes all this possible. We want to believe that some part of us lives on, some soul. And does this something, in some sense, know things? Is it distinct, individual, uniquely us? Does it go somewhere when we die to hang out with the souls of everyone we knew when we were alive? Does it play cards, go for long walks in the clouds, stay up all night drinking in the kitchen? And can we who are still alive connect with the souls of all those people that we have known some way? Can we part the veil? Are there thin times when the spirits go walking? Or is the answer a little more general? Does this part of us flow like a tributary into a great river of being? Do our souls, our cosmic energy, our life forces, whatever you want to call it, all blend into one big stream? And then that big stream, is that the source of more life downriver? Does some part of it branch off again, become embodied, once again, a unique person? Or maybe a spaniel, or a tomato. We have theories about what happens to you when you die. There's that bright white light thing that some people on the brink report. Others explain that away as the physical effect of oxygen depletion upon the optic nerve. That's how it goes for us. We like to ask the big questions. We are drawn to spiritual consideration. And we are also nagged by a good dose of doubt. Still we wonder and ask questions, and are given to our own individual search for truth and meaning, however it is for you to answer these questions. I have experienced this kind of service in more than one UU congregation, wherein members are invited to share their own thoughts on the afterlife. As is typical for us, there are as many answers as there are UUs. Maybe 4 or 5 more answers than there are UUs. In that first service I was invited to participate in, the minister called one night to ask whether I would join. We want someone to talk about a belief in heaven, he said, and someone to talk about reincarnation, and then someone to talk about death as the end of life, no more knowing. Sure, I said, Which one am I? The minister laughed. I guess I was being a good you, keeping my options open. If we don't have a lot of answers about the afterlife, we are all about this life. We are a lived faith, a faith that grounds its belief in sense and senses. This no more knowing theory is the answer that seems to have the most going for it, at least in terms of what we can see. The lights go out, our physical being and our consciousness are one and the same. Without a body, that's all there is. When frost strikes the garden and the plants wither and die, we pull up the vines, collect the tomato cages and the rabbit fence, till the soil, and no more think about whether the garden in any sense exists. Trees die and rot away. Animals in the woods consume and are consumed. Whole mountain ranges disappear. The good news, the gospel story of resurrection and immortality, might tug at our hearts, but what real evidence do we have? How does that fit with everything else that we know? I think what a crowded place the universe would be if all of the invisible spirits of each living being that has ever been somehow still populate the place. Part of me, too, says that a more romantic idea about death is dangerous. If we believe in some heavenly reward, we can let go of all kinds of things. It means we can put off injustice in this life if it turns out to be just too hard. It lets us sublimate abuse. It lets us become martyrs. What we know is that we are alive, and isn't life great? Often we speak of life as a gift and death as a mystery. Here's a riddle. What if we turned it around? What if we thought of death as the gift and life as the mystery? Ursula Goodenough, a scientist who writes of the technicalities of evolution and a naturalistic view of spirituality in a book called The Sacred Depths of Nature, she writes, "Does death have any meaning?" Well, yes, it does, she says. In an evolutionary sense, mortality is the key to diversity. If things didn't die, there would be no need to adapt. Death is the price paid to have trees and clams and birds and grasshoppers, and death is the price paid, she says, to have human consciousness, to be aware of all that shimmering awareness, all that love. My somatic life is the wondrous gift wrought by my forthcoming death, she says. Here's my answer to what happens to us when we die. We live. Yes, we live. We live inside hearts and minds of all those we have touched. We live in trees and rivers. We live in our interconnectedness. None of us exists alone. All of us are products of eons of history and light years of connection. We are who we meet. We are composite. We are connected. We comprise each other, mosaics of everyone that we know. When one of us dies, the part of that person that makes us up lives on inside us as real as ever. This is the mystery. This is the miracle. In a cold and dark universe filled with swirling gases and hard rocks, life keeps popping up. In some tepid backwater somewhere, amino acids combine, a lightning bolt strikes, or some other magic happens, I don't know, and bam, life comes. From the murk and the mud, life, again and again, incessant, irrepressible, eternal. What is incarnate? Life is incarnate. Life in each one of us. Life given shape and form in our bodies. Life incarnate in everyone. What is immortal? Life is immortal. We are a part of life. We are each rivers fed by many streams, by the people we have known and loved. They become part of us. We become part of them. What is the gospel? Gospel story, the good news. It's the story of each one of us. It's 1,000 stories, 1,000 gospels, each as true as the last. When some one of us dies, we retell that gospel story, the truth of the one who has lived. We tell their stories, the arc of their lives. We live again the parts of our lives that touched theirs. When we tell those stories, when we relive our lives, those who have died are here among us, as real as ever, alive, incarnate, immortal, in each of us. These things have been on my mind now for some months. One of my oldest and dearest friends died this summer. We got our start in a garage. Mark played rhythm guitar, I played bass. We might have been Lennon and McCartney, except that we both wanted to be John. I think that the dreams born of a garage band are among the most powerful anywhere. You can become famous overnight, for real. That's the driving belief behind every teenage band. It is rock solid. Those dreams, they shaped my life. They are tattooed on my body. Plato says innovations in music are a danger to the state. And as a tail-end baby boomer who was yearningly aware of the music and the protest and the social change of the 1960s, I believe it. I wanted to become just such a six-string countercultural change agent myself. Mark, in fact, did pursue music for a time before becoming a teacher. My path, and the fact that I have zero discipline, eventually led me away from music in an accomplished form, though I do play from time to time, closeted, alone. It's pure therapy. Activism, social change, however, making a difference in the world as much as you can, these things took shape in various forms now over 2 careers. Dreams don't always work out the way you expect they will, but the roots might stay the same. It is no wonder that many of my oldest and dearest friends are musicians and teachers. They hold the key. At my friend's interment this summer, I poured some of his ashes into a hole they had dug under a Colorado blue spruce where he rests. I poured some of those dreams into the hole too. It has been hard for me to pick up the guitar since then. Grief is slow. But Mark's ashes, I know, will not stay in the hole. They will feed the roots. He will become the tree standing over the grave, and then through the bronchioles of the branches and the alveoli of the leaves, the tree will breathe him out in warm sun, up to the atmosphere, to the clouds and beyond. May it be so. Let's sing together. Once again, hymn number 57 in the gray hymnal, or here on the wall. Please rise in body or spirit.
How beautiful the march of days as seasons come and go. The hand that shaped the rose hath wrought the crystal of the snow, hath sent the hoary frost of heaven, the flowing waters sealed, and laid a silent loveliness on
Please be seated. Alex will have a gift for us again as our postlude, becoming something of a Christmas tradition for us. After the service, please join us for coffee and conversation down below in the fellowship hall. And when you do go, as always, go in love. Seek justice, find peace.
Oh, my name is Francis Tolliver. I come from Liverpool. 2 years ago the war was waiting for me after school. To Belgium and to Flanders, Germany to here, I fought for king and country I love dear. 'Tis Christmas in the trenches, where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were still, no Christmas song was sung. Our families back in England were toasting us that day. They're brave and glorious lads so far away. I was lying with my messmate on the cold and rocky ground when across the lines of battle came a most peculiar sound. Says I, now listen up me boys, each soldier strange to hear, as one young German voice sang out so clear. He's singing bloody well, you know, my partner says to me. Soon one by one each German voice joined in harmony. The cannons rested silent, gas clouds rolled no more, as Christmas brought us respite from the war. As soon as they were finished and a reverent pause was spent, God rest ye merry gentlemen struck up some lads from Kent. The next they sang was Stille Nacht, 'tis silent night, says I, and in two tongues one song filled up that sky. There's someone coming towards us, the frontline sentry cried. All sights were fixed on one lone figure coming from their side. His truce flag like a Christmas star shone on that plain so bright, as he bravely strode unarmed into the night. Soon one by one on either side, we walked into no man's land. With neither gun nor bayonet, we met there hand to hand. We shared some secret brandy and we wished each other well. And in a flare-lit soccer game, we gave them hell. We traded chocolates, cigarettes, and photographs from home. These sons and fathers far away from families of their own. Young Sanders played his squeeze box and they had a violin. This curious and unlikely band of men. Soon daylight stole upon us. France was France once more. With sad farewells we each began to settle back to war. But the question haunted every heart that beat that wondrous night: whose family have I fixed within my sights? 'Tis Christmas in the trenches, where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were warmed as songs of peace were sung. For the walls they kept between us to exact their works of war had been crumbled and were gone forevermore. Oh, my name is Francis Tolliver. In Liverpool I dwell. Each Christmas comes since World War I. I've learned its lessons well. That the ones who call the shots won't be among the dead and lame. And on each end of a rifle we're the same.
Thanks.